literacy rates are in decline. And that seems to be a general global trend. I'm not here going to spit facts and figures at you. I'm not going to tell you if certain studies are better than others. All I'm going to tell you is that I'm a parent of 2 kids. And the more that I read about this, the more that I hear about other people's kids and where they are within their development of reading, the more panicked I become. In fact, Trump closed down the Department of Education, and one of the reasons why he did that was because literacy rates are in decline. So why aren't kids reading? Again, I'm not going to tell you that the pedagogic modules that are in schools are good or if they're bad. I'm not going to tell you, specific ways to get your kid to read, because as a parent, and I know as a parent, those things, when it comes into the household, they just kind of go to the wayside. For context, I have 2 kids under the age of 7 who are both reading above their age grade. This is not me showboating or humble bragging. That's just the matter. But I'll tell you one thing I have never done. I have never looked at pedagogic examples of how best to teach my kids. In fact, we've never actually relied on Blippi, Miss Rachel. We've never used online educators in order to improve their reading skills. What we've done is that we've got them to read. What does that look like? That means you get a book and you say, hey, can you read this? And you kind of bludgeon it into them. I know that sounds really harsh. Me and my eldest spent a month reading and rereading multiple times The Cat in the Hat. Again, it's a slow process, but you know what happened after the 5th time? She understood what the word cat was. She understood what the word said was, and began to be able to quickly identify the words that were on the page. Now, the great thing about reading is once you understand one word, it generally comes up quite a bit. If she knows who, what, why, where, when, the, and, so, though, because, they're going to crop up in other books. This isn't rocket science. But you know what also isn't rocket science? Being an example for your kid. Again, parent, you cannot really control the government. You can't really control the teachers. You can't control that. But what you can control, I've said it again, I'm going to be a broken record, is what's going on in your house. You need to start reading. Again, this is not rocket science. You need to start reading. I don't care if it's a book, a newspaper, a magazine. I don't care what it is. Tell your kids you're going on a mission and just go and buy a newspaper. My daughters are really excited when we go on our dog walk and I say, we're going to buy a newspaper. And they choose the newspaper. Again, it doesn't matter what the newspaper is. They pick up the newspaper and then they have a look through it. They just look at the pictures. I'm glad there's not page 3 of The Sun anymore. What can I say? They look through, there's games, and they kind of get this idea that the newspaper is a form of entertainment, even though they're not really interested about global economic politics that I am. That's not the point. The point is they see me read the newspaper. If you look at my channel, I review books. My kids see me read books. And that's the really important bit. You cannot divert to an ebook or an audiobook. They need to physically see you read the thing. I don't care. I do not care what you think. They need to see that you are holding a book or something with words that you are reading. Why? Because the books that they get sent home are physical. They don't get audiobooks. They don't get ebooks. And even if you are the biggest e-reader of all time, if you are reading on a phone, your kids think that you are on a phone. The smartphone is a device that is optimized to grab your attention, to keep you entertained. A book is the opposite. You have to kind of learn to understand that this is enjoyable. And for the majority of people, reading is not fun because it takes a really long amount of time. It doesn't matter if you're the quickest reader ever. I guarantee a TV series or a film is way more captivating than a book. This is not rocket science. If you cannot afford books, you go into the library. If you don't have a library, you are asking people that you know to borrow a book. And do you know what, as a parent? I don't care if you don't even like the book. For your kids, like we all have done, you're going to grin and bear it. You're going to grin and bear it so they begin to understand that reading is a form of entertainment. That's the only thing you need them to do, is to understand that sitting down with a book and reading is fine. Once you've done that, once they've done that and they've hit basic literacy, I don't care if they're never a lifelong reader. I'll be honest, I don't care if your kids end up not being lifelong readers. All they need to do is hit basic literacy, which is what like 98% of people should be able to do. This is not a class thing, this is not a race thing. The majority, the large, vast majority of people that you will meet from all various backgrounds can read. You do not want to, and this is an absolute horror story that I was told, where kids go into their exams, we're going to use the British ones, GCSEs, right? These exams, if you like them, it doesn't matter. They basically set out your trajectory in life. If you pass or fail, it's a big deal. And some kids cannot read the exam paper. They cannot read the exam paper. So the piece of paper that they have to sit there for an hour up to 2 hours, that's basically going to determine their trajectory in life, they cannot read the damn thing. They're not functionally literate. Again, I don't know how to get it through people. I've spoken to people who I know who are parents about this, and I'm like, start reading. And do you know what they go? I don't really have time. Make damn time. Make damn time for your damn kids. Like, I get like really up in arms about this, right? Just buy the damn £1 newspaper, and for a week, smile and grudge your way through it. It's not even that hard. There are harder things that you have had to do as a parent. I know you have, because your kids at school age, you've gone through like the nights. You've gone through the absolute night terrors. It's the worst thing in the world. Not having sleep is wild. But you know what's even wilder? Having your kid not being able to even like engage with the world. Reading is so important. If your kids cannot read, I am a proponent of it. They cannot do anything. They cannot engage in school. Everything is written down. Everything is read. They have to be able to read. And why are literacy rates dropping? I don't want to blame the iPhone, but this is a great device. It's wonderful. It does so many things. It has games, you can watch movies, you can have TVs, you can also, like me, you can read the news on it. You can have books on here, you can read articles upon articles, you can read blog posts, you can go on Substack, you can read so much. But your kids aren't doing that. Your kids are interested in the games. Why? Because they're fun. They're great. They're great. But what's better is for them to be able to navigate the world. I think people really intellectualize this. I think people really... I've watched many videos talking about, like, the phonetic structures. I've never done phonetics with my kids. It's something I don't know if I was taught that way. I can't do it. So I just don't do it with my kids. They can. And you know what? If they can spell words and they're using the phonetics, I'm fine with that. But, like, when it comes to me and the kids... Like it's most of the times it falls apart. Like if they're doing phonetics, just breaks down. You can't do it. It doesn't really work. When, it doesn't really work. Those words, they just have to learn. Said, the phonetics don't really work. It's useful some of the time, and it allows kids to troubleshoot a lot of the words. But like the majority is just regurgitation. They've seen the word 50, 100 times, and it just goes in. Like when I see the word, I don't know, let me think of a hard word, cough. Let's say cough. I've seen it so many times, it's just like muscle memory. I just know what the word is. Please for your kids, just read. Just have a book. Just have a book and grin and bear it. There's so many excuses that people make, and it boils my blood. There's so many excuses. But you know what? I know parenting's hard. I'm not even trying to say that parenting's easy. It's really not. But this is just one. This is just one of those grin and bear it moments. Like if you're at the antithesis of this, being like, I don't have time, I don't want to, I don't particularly care. I mean, if you don't care, then you won't care. But your kids will care. Kids know when their peers are moving into leagues above them. I remember in high school when I was 14 and seeing my friends like being able to understand concepts that I didn't, and it sucked. And I'm seeing this with other kids, like questioning, why is this person not on chapter books? Why is this person on chapter books? Why am I still on like the lower set of spellings? Kids know. Kids absolutely know. And no kid wants to feel left out. No one wants to feel left out. You have to start reading physical things. Beg people for books. Knock your neighbour. Knock an old neighbour and say, do you have a book? I guarantee they have a Danielle Steele hanging around. Don't let your kids down. Don't overcomplicate this. Don't intellectualise it. This is basic literacy. This shouldn't be difficult.